Hi everybody, welcome to Golden Era Bookworm. Today we will be looking at Your Physique, February-March 1944, with Tony Sansone on the cover. And on the title we can see, Can Weak Hearts Be Strengthened? One of the articles inside. So, looking through the first few pages, more ads. I like how in the past they used to say barbell, actually, if you can read that, because that's what originally, where the name came from, barbell, is that it was a bar with two bells of weight at the end, right? And it's actually interesting that you read that throughout the article. You see the word barbell. Some books developing abdominal health and developing a mighty chest were common back then, and pretty decent information. In the editorial, you can see photos of Joe Weider, and in this particular editorial, he mentions that readers of Your Physique keep their magazines, while other health and strength magazines that were at the time were thrown away. And I guess such a statement must have really pissed, for example, Bob Hoffman off. And for $2 a year, one can buy themselves a real health service which a doctor cannot give you, and I actually believe that's true. And it also urges the reader to begin to exert themselves. And I also believe that this is true. So this involves, I'll just start reading from exert yourself. This involves, going back to page 49, mental effort, a willed determination, the grit to do something now to improve your condition. Very wise words. And it does take that self-motivation. These words are applicable back then, and they're more than applicable now. It goes on to mention that some readers, even of Your Physique, make scrapbooks with chapters on subjects such as diet, exercise, and health hints. If we go back, the choice of the strong. So, interesting here at the bottom is the Weider guarantee section. That's hilarious. We have told you that the Weider bodybuilding equipment, our barbells and dumbbells, are the best that money can buy. La-di-da-di-da. What's interesting is at the end of that, you can return the set to us and your money will be refunded without question. Could anything be fairer? We would have extended our guarantee. It's only for the period of 1 week after you purchase it. We would have extended the guarantee was it not for war conditions. That's again going to show you the times that people lived in. Weight trained and the strained heart. Arthur Dandurand was considered one of the strongest men in the world. Tons upon tons of iron was lifted over his head. At the age of 63, his heart was examined and was past perfect without the slightest murmur. He has a powerful heart. Here he is lifting a Ford engine weighing 450 libras, that's 200 kilos, to his shoulders unassisted, and walking a distance of over 100 yards with it on his shoulder. It's pretty amazing. Then he defeated the strongest weightlifter on the American continent some years ago when he was the age of 50 and his opponent was only half his age. So a very strong man known as the Canadian Sandow. So I don't think that weight training makes the heart worse. It actually probably strengthens it. Dan Lurie. Again, you can see that barbells, what I meant earlier. This article by L. Forbes and shows how Dan Lurie also strengthened his weak heart using barbells, but he, after 3 years of training, he won the most muscular man title in America in LA at the age of 20 in 1943. He also became rather famous at the time, being in high demand for posing. Photographers actually believed that he would become one of the most outstanding physiques the world had ever seen, and by the pictures you can actually see that they were onto something. Your great breathing muscle. Joe Weider here talks about the diaphragm and diaphragmatic breathing and how we lose this involuntary action through bad habit in posture. Very true. We're all very slouching nowadays. Our posture is gone, therefore our proper breathing is gone. All brawn, no brain dispels the myth that muscle men are dumb and stupid, which I don't believe is true. I'm a scientist myself. Your bodybuilding problems solved. And in this particular article, the breathing squat is mentioned as a weight gainer. Chest exercises that we are all aware of, dips, bench press, etc., flies, and striving for shape over bulk and not getting too fat. These are the major articles. Legs, and Legs by George Jowett. This article offers exercises done with the old piece of equipment, the iron boot. I don't know whether you can see it, but the guy here is wearing iron boots, and you can see he's doing all sorts of exercises. Squats, as we know, lunges, and all, there's the lunges there, calf raises with dumbbells, and all sorts of so hamstring curls and leg extensions with the iron boot. Nowadays, of course, many of these exercises are done with machines and cables. Weightlifting Lift by Lift mentions the prone press, just like the bench press, but done from the floor. Now it's called the floor press. So this was before benches were actually around. And lying lateral raises for developing shoulder power. Bodybuilders Corner talks about the unofficial and official bent press records, as well as movies featuring the strongmen of the past, such as Apollon, famous for the Apollon axle wheels, which was a barbell of railway car wheels. So really interesting sign there, ad here. Buy war saving certificates. It was a way of investing money back in the Second World War. 29% investment for your money, so return for your investment. And it attracted war finance for a patriotic cause. And it was introduced in 1916 in the UK. Fairy Tales About the Giants. As the name suggests, it discusses feats of strength performed by Louis Cyr and Apollon and other strongmen, and concludes that these claims were exaggerated instead of calculating their appropriate true strength. And so this article actually looks at the possibility of their real strength and calculates it for you. So that basically you don't get a false belief as well that you can perform these strength feats. Posture as a personality and health factor. Talks about poise and posture. So Incorrect poise may consist of several abnormal and unnatural conditions. Usually the person walks slew-footed, that is feet out, round-shouldered, belly protruding and head forward and dropping, and perhaps he drags his feet as he might do if each shoe weighed 50 pounds or more. These are few of the common faulty conditions, and to be honest, we see people walking like that nowadays too. It's just bad posture. The author mentions how he fixed his slew-footed walking by standing and walking pigeon-toed. I actually also had slew-footedness and I fixed it that way too. And similarly, he fixed his round-shouldered posture by performing the opposite actions, and that is keeping your arms back. It does take a lot of persistence. What they measured is towards the end, and here it is. Interesting, because this actually tells you about it gives you a realistic expectation as to the possibilities of natural development of the male physique. I really liked this, because there's a lot of magazines nowadays claiming, people have 22, 23, 24 inch arms. And of course these people are on steroids, but for people of a height here of 72.5 inches or 72 inches, 70 inches, etc. You get, for example, for biceps up to 19 inches, 18, anywhere from 16 to 19 inches is natural, etc., etc. Your chest can be up to 49 to 50 inches. So all of these are, calves 18 inches. So these are realistic expectations, and I really like that. Finally, in the news, at the very end, talks about sexual surgery. Interesting again, which discusses the complete or partial mutilation of the portions of soldiers' body, and in particular genitalia, due to war. This is discussed, and the surgical procedures to correct these mutilations caused by war. So you can imagine back then people returning from war mutilated, with their genitalia mutilated, and having to undergo surgical procedure to fix it. Really different times people used to live back then. That's the end of this review of Your Physique. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want me to review other magazines or other issues, please let me know. Leave your comments. If you like it, leave a thumbs up. If you'd like to contribute, please send in an email or comment with donations of magazines, ideally. Thank you very much, and tune in next time for another review.